as unbelievable as it sounds, we are halfway through July. Don't ask me where the first half of the year has gone because I genuinely have no clue. But since we are halfway through the months, I've had some time to gather my thoughts on some of the latest Hermes launches, which can only mean one thing. It's time for one of your favorite videos, what to buy from Hermes this month in July. Now, these videos are not here to encourage you in any shape or form to spend your hard-earned money on things that you don't want or need. Instead, I continue making them. So if you are already planning a trip to your local Hermes boutique, you have a little bit of an insight into what you can expect to see on shelves, or just have a harmless chat about some very special, exciting, and in some cases, over the top, ridiculous, eccentric Hermes pieces. So if that sounds interesting to you and you'd like to hear my thoughts on the latest and greatest from Hermes, pieces that should be on shelves in July, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and keep on watching. If I seem a little deflated, that's purely because this is my second time filming this video today. Long story short, I bought a bunch of mics to test, and the one that I decided to try this morning made me sound so muffled I could not even edit the video. So I'm back here filming this video for you for the second time, so I hope it will be worth it. And without further ado, let's dive straight in because I know already that we have a lot to get through. And I figured we could start with some new travel pieces from Hermes in case you are planning any big trips for the upcoming summer month. I don't have any big holidays coming up. I'm going to London in a couple of weeks for a really exciting project, which I cannot wait to share with you. So I'm going to be in London for 5 days working on something that's still a secret. I'm going to be seeing some friends, and of course, I have to do some window shopping, which I'm hoping to share with you. So stay tuned. Hopefully there are some London travel vlogs coming, but if you have any trips coming up, please let us know in the comment section so we can live vicariously through you. Anyway, if you are planning a trip, you might want to know about these new travel pieces from Hermes. The first one is not actually a brand new launch, but it's a piece that's available in a new print, which is the R.M.S suitcase. The rolling mobility suitcase, or also known as the R.M.S suitcase, originally launched a couple of years ago, which was Hermes's latest take on suitcases and carry-ons. This wasn't the first time that they launched a suitcase, but this was their most modern and most, I would say, well-rounded launch, which we knew was eventually going to turn into its own franchise. I personally would not spend so much money on a suitcase. It's something that I have talked about before, but personally, these suitcases for me are way too fragile to justify the price. They're available in either leather or canvas. You can choose from plain canvas suitcases or ones that feature some sort of a print, which I really don't like the look of. But if you do, there is a new silk print, well, an iconic silk print that is being put on one of these suitcases for spring summer 2024, which is the so-called quadriche print. It is something that you'll definitely be familiar with if you know and love Hermes' scarves. It is a print that's actually inspired by ancient chariots, if I'm not mistaken, and I can never remember the order, but I think the chariot features 2 wheels and it has 4 horses in the front, or it has 4 wheels and 2 horses in the front. No, I think it's the other way around. I think it's a chariot with 2 wheels and then it's drawn by 4 horses. And that's what this particular print pays tribute to. So if you love a really quirky, funky print and you don't mind spending a lot of money on a suitcase, this might be something that you want to look into. My local boutique actually has a huge range of suitcases at the moment, and when I was there last week, I was asked if I would be interested in investing in one, and I immediately said no, and I explained why that is. I personally would not feel comfortable spending so much money on something that you put through a ton when you're running through the airport, when you're trying to find your gate, when you're going through security. I feel like it would just be such a headache having a suitcase that is not only incredibly expensive, but is also made of a more fragile material. And I was immediately told that these suitcases do come with a cover that you can, of course, put on them whenever you put them in the overhead bin or whenever you're going through security, which I think is a great idea. I don't have any issues putting my bags that I'm traveling with in their dust bags while I'm at the airport. But I just feel putting your suitcase in a dust bag kind of defeats the purpose because yes, my bags can go in their dust bags, but as soon as I get to my destination, they come out of their dust bags and I get to enjoy them. Whereas when it comes to a suitcase, the only time you really get to use and enjoy them is when you're traveling. And so if you have to put them in their dust bags when you're out and about traveling, then what's the point of spending so much money on them? You're never going to see these suitcases in all their glory. I hope that makes sense. So personally, I would not spend the money on it, but if you exclusively fly private, I mean, even if you only fly first class, you will still have to put your suitcases in the overhead bin. So long story short, I would not spend the money on it, but if you would, they are continuing to launch these suitcases in some fresh new prints, and the collection is constantly being expanded on. So we have been hearing rumors that eventually they'll come out with a matching tote, which I was so excited for when I first heard that they're going to be launching a tote bag to go alongside this collection. I thought that they would do something along the lines of the Dior book tote, which I love the sound of. Well, the results were not quite as expected because then they launched the R.M.S 12 Ash, which is basically Hermes's take on a travel tote. To me, this design is extremely underwhelming, especially for the price. The only feature I like about this large and in charge tote is the fact that you can actually fold this back flat and store it in your suitcase. But I think there is nothing special about the design. I do not like, I mean, there's really not much to say. It's just so dull and kind of boring. There really isn't a single detail that I could point out to you as a pro or as a con because there's nothing to it. It just basically looks like a diaper bag. But if you're looking for a diaper bag, this might be a bag that you want to look into. And now we are getting a larger duffel bag within the same range, which is called the R.M.S Weekend Bag, and it costs $9,700. So it's definitely not for the faint of heart. Similar to the R.M.S tote and the R.M.S suitcase, it is made of a mix of Viking canvas and some leather details, but personally, again, it's just not something that, in my opinion, is worth the incredibly high price tag. If you like the idea of a light duffel bag, because let's be honest, the fact that these pieces are made of canvas rather than leather makes them inherently more lightweight. So if you like that aspect, I would encourage you to look at the Herбag. You can definitely pick up the Herбag 39 as a travel tote, which I think will add a lot more unique of a facet to your collection. And let's not forget that the Herбag also comes in a large cabin size, which you could definitely use as a duffel or even as a carry-on on its own. So personally, if you like the sound of a lighter, large and in charge tote, I would point you in the direction of the Herбag over the R.M.S range, which to me, the R.M.S collection is just unreasonably overpriced. And speaking of larger travel bags, I wanted to put this bag on your radar too, which you could definitely use as a travel bag, or if you're a little bit taller, I do think it's a bag that you could use on a daily basis. Personally, on me, I feel like the proportions of this bag would be quite overwhelming, but they are doing a really fun take on the iconic bolide bag for this season. You have heard my thoughts on the bolide bag. I recently did a video sharing everything you need to know about some of Hermes's most iconic bags, which if you have not seen that video, I will make sure to have it linked up here. Long story short, the bolide bag has been around for decades, and it is, in my opinion, one of Hermes's most timeless and most understated creations. And believe it or not, it was the very first handbag to ever feature a zip closure. Now, this is a bag that has been reinterpreted and reinvented time and time again. It comes in a ton of different sizes, and for this current season, we are getting a giant bolide backpack, which you can not only use as a backpack, but it also works perfectly well as a handheld duffel. It's quite a large bag. It's exclusively available in Togo in a handful of neutral shades. I think it measures 39.5 centimeters to be exact. I know that's very specific, but for some reason I have that number stuck in my head. So it's just under 40 centimeters long, and I believe it's 34 centimeters tall. Don't ask me how I remember these numbers. I'm terrible with numbers usually, but when it comes to prices and dimensions, I just have a weird compartment in my brain that is dedicated to Hermes stats. Anyway, if you love a large and in charge tote or duffel, this might be something nice for you to look into. It is of course inspired by the iconic shape of the bolide, except it is slightly more elongated, and it also comes with a really unique strap that allows you to, I mean, they say wear it as a backpack. It doesn't really feel like a full-on backpack. It's more like a strap that allows you to just kind of sling it over your back. You can put it over your shoulder and carry it that way, but I wouldn't call it technically a backpack. It is definitely a pricey piece. It's just under 10,000 euros. I think it's 9,650 euros to be exact. And it's something that you can do a lot with. Of course, you can use it every day, or you can use it specifically for traveling. But if you like a more masculine bag, I thought this might be something that you would enjoy knowing about. Let's quickly talk about the latest addition to the Hermes homeware line. They're introducing a new collection of tableware, which actually got me really excited. This new collection is very much inspired by the roots of the brand, their harness making heritage, and these pieces borrow inspiration from the different ropes and braiding techniques that Hermes has been using in their workshops since the dawn of time. The collection includes 27 new pieces, including 10 brand new shapes, which the press release said that these are 10 new hollow shapes, which leads me to believe that it's going to be different bowls and different vases. I'm not exactly sure what they meant by that, but what I do know is that I love the look of this collection. To me, it feels a lot more rooted in reality than some other designs that Hermes offers in their tableware. You know, most of their designs tend to be quite abstract and really just pretty and understated, whereas this collection to me feels a lot more realistic, which I actually quite like. So you have a lot of rope inspired details, some details of hardware, which to me is quite special, and it just works. There's something kind of 50 Shades of Grey slash BDSM inspired about the different ropes that this collection features, which, you know, whatever floats your boat. To me, this whole collection just works as it is. If I was to invest in this collection, I would definitely start with the tart platters. I do think that tart platters from Hermes are some of the best pieces money can buy, because you can not only use these in your kitchen, but you can also use them as trays in your living room. You can put them on your bookshelves as a piece of art. I personally use mine in my bedroom and also in my bathroom. I have my mosaic tart platter sitting in my bathroom on my sink just to organize and display my skincare and some of my fragrances. And these, I think, are the best way to infuse a little bit of Hermes into your interior. And the plate from this collection, I really do like the look of. I am not planning on buying any more tart platters, but if I was, this is definitely something that I would invest in. I also love the teapot in this collection, as well as the breakfast cup, which comes with a matching saucer, but you really cannot go wrong with any one of the pieces in this collection. They also have mugs, which my Hermes mugs are some of my most used and most loved pieces from Hermes, because they're genuinely things that I use every day, all day. So I would highly encourage you to look into the Tressage collection. And the good news is that every single piece in this collection is dishwasher and microwave safe, which I don't really care about my pieces being microwave safe, but the fact that they're dishwasher safe means that you actually get to use and enjoy them without the headache of having to hand wash them after every single use. So if you are looking for a new collection to explore from Hermes, this Tressage collection, I really do love the look of. And if I was buying any more tableware, to be really honest, I don't want to say that I'm not going to buy anything from this collection, because I might. I feel like if my boutique ever gets this collection in, I might have to pick up a couple of the mugs, maybe even the breakfast cups and the teapot, but it's not something I am going to be proactively seeking out. But if your boutique has it, or maybe if you are missing something from your tableware collection, this is something that I would highly encourage you to look into, because there's just something really bold and utilitarian about the look of these pieces. If you've been with me for a while, you have definitely heard me rave about the Be Happy from Hermes, which is, in my opinion, one of the best yet most underrated piece of jewelry from Hermes. This is one of those things that you can throw on with the most basic of outfits, and it will immediately pull you together and make the outfit feel a lot more well thought out. This is one of those things that you can stack with other pieces of fashion jewelry or even pieces of fine jewelry. I don't know why or how, but it just works, and I am a huge fan. But speaking of the Be Happy closure, we are getting an entire range of shoes that feature a Be Happy inspired buckle. We're not only getting these pieces in some more muted tones like black and red, but these shoes are also going to be available in Hermes's newest metallic finish called Doré, and the Be Happy inspired closure on these pieces is actually embellished with these sort of baguette cut rhinestone details, which definitely makes these shoes stand out from the crowd. So if you're looking for a true statement piece, look no further, because these shoes are definitely for those who are looking to make a statement. They offer several different styles within this collection. So they have the Jackie pumps, which feature a little bit of a heel. They have the Judy high heels, and then last but not least, they have the Jane ballet flats, which I'm pretty sure we have talked about before. There is something kind of grandma chic about these shoes, especially the way Hermes styles them. So in the campaign, they were actually styled with a pair of chunky woolly socks, which in theory, I really shouldn't like, because I'm not into the ugly grandpa shoe trend. I don't like the dad sandals, but there is something charming about this look. I don't know why that is, but I really, really like the look of these. My personal favorite is the Jackie pumps, which kind of remind me of Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. So if they ever remade The Wizard of Oz, I feel like these are the shoes that Dorothy would be wearing. So we might see these shoes pop up in the upcoming live action Wicked movie, because there is something kind of quirky and fun and magical about them. Anyway, I digress. I really do like these shoes, and if you're looking for a truly head-turning piece, these would be a good one for you to look into. And the Doré collection doesn't actually stop here, because there are more and more pieces that we are getting in this new metallic finish in goat skin, which are of course inspired by one of Hermes's most iconic and most rare collection of bags that first launched in the early 2000s. If I'm not mistaken, that collection of metallic bags launched in, I want to say 2005. It was a very short-lived, highly limited and exclusive collection that was only offered to some of Hermes's most loyal and most valued clients. It was a small collection of bags. Each one was actually inspired by a window display piece that Hermes had been using in their windows at the Faubourg mothership, and they were so beloved and so popular that Hermes decided to commercialize them for a single season, and they reinterpreted them as some Birkin bags. They offered, I think, Birkin 25s and Birkin 30s in two metallic finishes, in metallic gold and metallic silver. They had a handful of Kelly bags offered as part of the collection. I think they had some silver and gold Kelly 25s in a cellier structure, and even a Kelly pochette. I want to say the Kelly pochette might have come in 3 different shades, in gold, silver, and bronze. And then last but not least, they might have even done some Constance bags. Don't quote me on this, but I remember seeing some metallic Constance bags as part of the collection. But I mean, this collection first launched almost 20 years ago, so I was very, very young back then. But these pieces still pop up at auctions, and they are usually, I mean, just ludicrously priced, because they have not been around since, and they are to this day some of the most highly desired Hermes bags out there, which I completely get. There are very few bags that are as eye-catching as some of these metallic pieces, but we have been hearing rumors and seeing teasers of a metallic color making a comeback, which is not identical to the original bronze color. It's not quite as gold as the original color gold was. It's somewhere in between gold and silver. To me, it feels a little bit more subtle, more rosy, and kind of champagne-like. Now, Hermes has slowly been releasing some Constance bags in this new Doré metallic finish in goat skin. So you might have seen the Constance 18, the mini Constance, pop up in this color. And eventually, we should also be getting a mini Kelly in this beautiful new champagne gold shade. But in the meantime, while you're waiting for these to launch or to be able to get your hands on, you can also find the orange sandals in this color, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but if you are, these should be around. You can also buy the Santorini sandals in the color Doré, which I think feels a lot more elegant than the orange sandals. I recently talked about the comparison between the two I think in a video where I discussed my thoughts on some of the most basic luxury pieces. So if you have not seen that and you would like to hear my thoughts on why I don't like the Constance, that video will be linked up here for you. I'm trying to think what else is available in the color Doré. So we have the mini Constance that's been out for a couple of years. We have the mini Kelly that is supposed to launch very, very soon. And then I think we also have the Paris loafers in this new Doré color, which is cute, but I would personally opt for either the Jackie or the Jane belly flats over the Paris loafers. But if you're a big fan, the Paris loafers are out now, and if I'm not mistaken, they are 950 euros. So this upcoming season seems to be all about metallic finishes, which makes sense considering that this collection has been out for, well, it first launched almost 20 years ago. This year is all about celebrating the Faubourg boutique, so it would make sense to launch these really festive new metallic finishes for 2020. Now, if you love a piece that makes a splash, even more so than a metallic gold bag, I figured you would enjoy learning about this next piece, which I actually got to try at my local boutique last week. I stopped by to pick up a couple of pieces, which stay tuned. There is an unboxing coming. I do not want to get your hopes up. This next piece I will not be unboxing, but I had to try it on when I was there because it is one of the most jaw-dropping creations from Hermes I have ever had the chance to try, which is the so-called Kelly Baguette. It is a piece that is, of course, inspired by the iconic Kelly bangle, which, if you know me, you know that I am not the biggest fan of the original Kelly bangle. I do not find them comfortable. I don't think that they are the most flattering, and I don't really like the Kelly twist closure itself on that particular design. But this is truly one of the most beautiful creations, and that is purely because I love baguette cut diamonds, and this is a piece that features over 9 carats of flawless baguette cut diamonds, and the bracelet itself is actually flexible. I mean, it feels very solid, and looking at it from afar, it looks just like any other solid bangle, but it features this really unique mechanism that allows you to open the bracelet up and put it on your wrist really comfortably. From afar, it really doesn't look any different than the original Kelly bangle, but there is a lot more that goes into the construction of the piece, which for the price you would expect that, because this particular bracelet will set you back 220,000 euros, so it's not for the faint of heart. But if, similar to me, you are a big fan of baguette cut diamonds too, just know that this collection is a lot more expensive. They also have single bands in this collection that feature baguette cut diamonds, which there's really nothing too special about. They're really kind of basic, but they also have solitaire rings where you have a Kelly twist closure inspired little plate that features a single larger stone that you can pick up, I think, in either a 1 or 2 carat size, or weight, I should say. So this is really a special collection that sits somewhere between high jewelry and fine jewelry, because Hermes also has a really beautiful range of high jewelry which you will not find in stores unless you shop at the mothership in Paris. But this is somewhere in between. This collection was actually designed by Pierre Hardy, just like the Be Happy creations and most shoes that you will see on shelves, because Pierre Hardy has been responsible for Hermes's shoe and jewelry creations for many, many years at this point. And this Kelly inspired collection is no exception. But my friends, the tables have turned and it is now your turn to share your review with me. Please let me know your thoughts on these pieces in the comment section, and if there are any other pieces from Hermes that you are currently eyeing. I always love hearing from you. And while you're down there, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I really appreciate you being here and watching, and I cannot wait to see you back here with a new video really, really soon.